Welcome back. We're having so much fun.
I love this.
We are.
And we love Natalie.
We
Natalie
love
has been
this.
such an important part of our lives
Yes, you
and
are.
our mission. And can I tell them a little bit about what happened?
Oh yeah, I was waiting for it.
When Natalie was 15. So you can just tell she's beautiful, she's smart, she's passionate. And when Natalie was 15, she was skiing and just had a freak accident, which ended up breaking her neck and causing her to be paralyzed from the neck down. And the doctor basically said she wasn't going to walk again. And she doesn't listen to authority. It's one of the things I've learned. And her mindset was, I will show you. And
So when I met Natalie, I'm the one that hired her. I'm going to take credit for that.
Yes.
I knew I had to hire her because she's such a firecracker. But when I heard the story, I saw pictures of her at 15. She could not move or feel from the neck down.
Yes.
And you were such a cute little nugget.
Oh yeah, with my braces and everything.
You were just so cute.
Help me.
She looked so sweet. and then I saw the next picture of you was you walking.
Yeah.
And it was more current.
Yes.
And I'm like, I have to hire this person.
Yes.
Because you just are so intense and you are so driven and you refuse to let the accident or a chair or any person define you.
Yeah.
And I just love that.
Yeah, it's been a really long, crazy journey, and I think one of the most important things that I've learned is that, I've learned a lot from you too, but I think for me, one of the things that I've always held with me is that there is no person, there is no entity, nobody that can tell me what I'm capable of.
Right.
And if I have a neuroscientist that has 30, 40 years of medical experience telling me something, they don't know me. They don't know my drive. They don't know my attitude. They don't know my motivation, and they don't know what I'm capable of. And I've held that with me, through high school, through college, and through my career. And it's gotten me here.
But what I like is that you use that attitude only to accomplish more. It's not like you're saying they don't know me and I can't accomplish that.
No.
It's always I can do better. I can do more than what you think I can.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And it's something that has been built over a long period of time. That's why I love when Tana talks about mindset and how important it is to continually tell yourself, whether it's what you want to do, I'm good enough to do this, or I'm good enough to do this, and to keep practicing.
You also have
to
an
do that.
insane kick-ass mom.
I have an insane kick-ass family, all family, but
You
yes,
do.
my mom is kick-ass.
But you've seen how our work really not only benefits you, but it benefits your sister.
My
we
dad.
did a whole story on that on social media, and your father.
Yep.
And
my boyfriend.
When you begin to fall in love with your brain, it affects everybody that you do. And I think one of the reasons you and I get along as well as we do is we have similar health values.
Right.
And the health values are so important.
And I think it's important too, because as a couple, you're able to hold each other accountable.
Yeah,
we talk a lot about goals here, and
support and accountability.
And being really clear and concise about like, what does Tana want for herself, and if Tana wants XYZ, then how is Daniel as a partner, as a husband, as a friend going to help her get there, and how is he going to help continually push her and motivate her? I think that's so important, and you guys do that so well together.
Well, and it wasn't always that way. When we first did the Brain Warriors Way, we were sort of fighting with each other a lot on who was going to say
well, not
what,
like
when.
about everything. It was more about we didn't know how
we
to
would
work
interrupt
well
each
together.
other.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't what it could be.
No.
And then we switched.
Yeah.
Because we go, okay, what's the goal? And my goal is always to build her up.
Yeah.
And her goal is the same for me.
Yeah.
It's how, and so, at the podcast, we actually have signals, right? If I'm talking too much, she'll put her hand on my leg, which means wrap it up, dude.
No, it means I want to make a point before you shift, right? So it's like, let me make a point before we move on. And so we're able to do that now, which is good.
Yeah. And so if you see it as a problem to solve,
Right.
rather than you call each other names, which so many people do.
Right.
And, and when I was younger, I could have been so much better. In relationships.
So I think, talking about some of the difficult parts of relationships, what do you two do as a couple when you have difficult moments, when you don't
Mhm.
agree on things. I think that's important to address too, because we've talked a lot about what you guys like about each other,
Right.
and how you work together as a couple. But how do you work together as a couple when things are difficult? Whether Tana does something that you don't like, or vice versa, or you don't see eye to eye on something.
Yeah.
Tana.
So if it's something small, it's really not a big deal. But let's just talk about occasionally when we really butt heads.
Yeah.
So for me, here's what I do. I will walk away because I don't want to fight. So I will walk away. Takes me about 20 minutes. This is my process.
Right.
Takes me about 20 minutes. And during that time, I'm not sitting there like revving up more.
Right.
During that time, it's like, is this worth it? Like, does this have eternal value? What is it I really want?
Right.
And then after the 20 minutes, I don't want to fight. And I've noticed it takes him about the same amount of time. Neither one of us hold on to stuff.
Right.
So it's like we come back together, we talk about it, or we just let it go.
Right.
But either way, we both let it go.
Yeah.
And that's it, because we don't want to go on. Now, if it's something we need to solve, then we talk about it then, but not when we're heated.
Right.
So my process is
And
to
we
walk
don't
away.
get heated. I mean, it's
very
just very
rare.
rare.
Yeah.
And we're also really good at saying sorry.
Yeah.
Because
That's so important. It's the
It's the best way to diffuse
Because
anything.
sometimes I'll say things that are just completely inappropriate, and it's interesting because sometimes she'll laugh, and other times she'll be offended.
Now, to me, it's very clear when it's appropriate and when it's not, but to him, it's not.
Right.
So,
I actually think it has to do with
it doesn't.
hormones.
Yeah,
but
no.
Don't ever say
Don't ever
that
say
out
that out
loud. Don't ever say it out loud. But one of the things we're really good at is reflecting on our own behavior,
Mm-hmm.
because as a psychiatrist, when I was a young psychiatrist, I thought it took two to make a relationship work.
Yeah.
And then I realized it totally doesn't take two. It takes one.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, most people are together because there's a foundation of love.
Right.
And if I can be the one that models forgiveness and kindness, then I'm much more likely to get that than if I hold on to a hurt and I feel, well, I'm entitled
Right.
to hold on to this hurt because you are X, Y, or Z. And all that gets me is
Yeah.
more hurt.
Yeah, let me know how that works out for you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Right? I see married someone like this. It's like, let me know how that works out for you, right? But so I could engage this redheaded, difficult person, right?
I am not a difficult person.
I
actually.
totally know how to
Oh,
make
I could
her.
be. Yeah.
I could, in less than 20 seconds,
Yeah.
I can get her to scream.
He
at me.
can.
we don't want that.
But I know how
Well, actually, I
not
wouldn't
to
scream.
do
Yeah.
that.
There's 4 words I would use. I'm not going to say them out loud.
Thank you. We don't need to believe that.
Actually, it's 3 with a hyphen.
But is there anything that you guys would recommend to people that do butt heads a lot? And I mean, maybe it's a relationship question, or maybe it's something that they can kind of start working on. Like you said, Daniel, you used to think it made 2 people to make a relationship, but really it's only 1. Is there anything that you would recommend?
There are some people that doesn't work with, what we just talked about.
Yeah.
There are just some people it doesn't work with that need help, like medical help.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well,
Yeah.
we haven't talked about the brain.
Yeah.
Really, in all of this,
Mhm.
that if your brain's obsessive, that it's very hard in relationships because you have to do everything perfectly or the other person's upset.
Right.
And that's so stressful.
You're walking on eggshells
Um,
all the time.
Right.
If they've had a head injury, and there's 2
And they're
million
volatile.
new head injuries every year, they can be unpredictable.
Mhm.
They're doing drugs.
Impulsive. If they're doing drugs or their doctor prescribed them the wrong medication,
Yeah.
that could be problematic as well.
Right.
So getting your brain right, and this is what we talk about on the Brain Warriors Way all the time, is absolutely critical to getting your love right.
Yeah, no, and I think, kind of switching gears a little bit to some of the things that we talked a lot about what you admire about Tana, and we talked about some of the things that you guys love to do together. But let's talk a little bit about being in a relationship, and we talked a little bit about conflicts and whatnot, and how you guys overcome those as well. But what about if Tana wants to do something that you're not interested in doing, or or vice versa? Like, how do you guys find common ground on things that, you know, your partner may really be excited about. Like, how do you let them down easy? Do you say, hey, take that one with a friend, or talk a little bit about that?
We don't really have an issue with it.
Well, I think it depends. If you really don't want to do it,
Yeah.
that we'll like go, well, have a good time.
Right. We give each other
And-
space. We give each other,
I'll
I'll miss
enjoy it.
you. I love you and I'll miss you.
But if it's really important to them, we'll go, sweetie, this is really important to me. I want you to come to this event.
Right.
with
If it's like an
me."
event.
Then
And you're like, okay,
He's not going
I
camping.
have to put makeup on. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
right. But if you said this is really important to me, I would really want you.
You're going to go on survival training with me?
Oh,
Absolutely
You're going to get
not.
mock kidnapped?
I would love to see that.
No, it's not happening.
See?
Right.
No one will
you
go
may
with
you
me.
may
I don't wanna go
really,
with you
really,
either.
really want me to do it.
Right.
And I'm gonna really, really, really say no.
Right.
Right.
But
so
I know
it's
he's gonna say
good
no.
to have good boundaries around.
But he doesn't stop me. And that's the thing. He scratches his head and rolls his eyes at me. And he's like, I provide this amazing life for you. Why do you feel this need to go do this stuff? But he doesn't stop me
Why
from
would
doing
you spend
it.
the night in a tent when there's a Four Seasons nearby? I just don't get it.
I don't understand it either. I'm not a camper, so I agree with Dr. Raymond on this one. But, you know, wrapping up this episode, we're going to come back and wrap up, you know, our top things that we learned about love. So stay tuned.
If you're enjoying the Brain Warriors Way podcast, please don't forget to subscribe so you'll always know when there's a new episode. And while you're at it, feel free to give us a review or 5-star rating, as that helps others find the podcast.
If you're interested in coming to Amen Clinics, use the code podcast10 to get a 10% discount on a full evaluation at amenclinics.com. For more information, give us a call at 855-978-1363.